Welcome. This is the Bridge Network, City Church, Canada. We're very glad to have you here. And our vision is outstanding life in service to God, transforming our world. We invite you to come for the word, but we know that you will stay for the kingdom. The Bridge Network is located in Canada, Vancouver, and we believe in connecting to each other, to the community, and to God. To support us and to be part of this, these are the information you need to be able to do that. We welcome you to our program today, and we trust that you're going to be blessed. Thank you so much for being with us. The Bridge Network, City Church, Canada. God bless you. Welcome. This is
All right. Good morning. Welcome to church. This is the Bridge Network City Church, Canada. My name is Olumide Olalekan. I'm the resident pastor of the Bridge Network City Church, Nigeria. It's another Sunday. It's a real success seminar, and this is where we teach practical stuffs, give you practical tools that helps you to lead successful lives in your various endeavors, whether it's as a business person or as a career person. This month, we've been looking at the topic purpose, the value of building a purpose-driven business, the value of building a purpose-driven business. And we've looked at diverse perspectives from different people over the last couple of weeks, starting with Pastor Francis at the beginning of the month, and Pastor Michelle, especially looking at this topic from the point of view of an employee. This morning, I will be playing to you a video from the service in church in Nigeria here, where I actually preached, spoke on this topic, then looking at it from the perspective of the business owner. And we actually looked at some very interesting things, and even what the world is looking at in terms of the shift from focusing so much on profitability of the company towards the impact that businesses should be making in the area of environment, in the area of social well-being, and also in the area of governance, what is called the ESG initiative. I'm sure that you'll be able to pick quite some number of points here as you listen this morning that will be useful for you in your business and in your endeavors. So let's sit back, take time out, listen. I'll be back to wrap up the service. God bless you.
Run a business, or you don't own a business, you actually run a business. It's also very, very important for us. There are some certain things I'll be sharing with us this morning. I'm hoping that we will take it a lot seriously, because you will find out that a whole lot has changed in our world and in the world of business. So I'm hoping that we will take some of the things I'm going to be sharing seriously, and you will actually go back to implement as little as possible as you can in your business, because you will find out that it will really make a whole lot of difference, especially as we move forward. So let me just move ahead. And like I said, I always say that where my references are always at the bottom of the slide. Okay, all right. It says that corporate success is no longer, and you'll find this very interesting. It says that corporate success is no longer measured just in dollars and cents. Now, what that means is that corporate success is no longer measured in profitability, in how much money the business makes. There's a huge shift. There is a huge shift that is going on around the world, especially in the corporate sector as relating to this. It says that investors, employees, and customers alike are all paying closer attention to non-financial factors like environmental, social, and governance standards. I don't know how many of you have heard about ESG standards or ESG initiatives. How many of us have heard about it? You guys, you are really losing out. ESG is environment, social, governance. Now, I'm sure that, let me just move forward a bit. How many of us have heard about this? We've heard about this. I know most of us have heard about this. Now, there is also what is called the ESG, or what is also called the ESG goals. And the whole world is pushing businesses in this direction. You know, one of the very interesting things that happened, okay, that impacted me, interestingly, I think about a week or 2 weeks ago, I was actually in this particular meeting. It's a research work going on impact investment. People wanting to put money into people's businesses, but not so much in terms of profitability, but in terms of the impact the businesses are making. And interestingly, in that meeting, there is this particular, I think a woman, I've forgotten her name now, but she is the special advisor to the president on something matters. And after the presentation, the woman began to ask that, did the research look at these things? ESG, that did the research look at it? But unfortunately, because that wasn't really the goal of the research, it didn't take cognizance of this. But now they've been pushed to go back to the drawing board to ensure that the research captures some elements of this as well. And you know what surprised me is the fact that a special advisor, a government worker, was interested in how business are faring as relating to this, no matter how small the business is. And we will go on. Now, the first thing about environmental, it's talking about renewable fuels, it's talking about greenhouse gas emissions, talking about now everything that has to do with the quality of our environment. With the quality or with the improvement of our environment. There's also talking about social, health and safety, working conditions, employee benefits, diversity and inclusion, human rights. You know, I think I was saying this on social media, it was yesterday, I think, that there's a group now in Lagos that are demanding that Igbo people should not be given employment in Lagos. I find it very, very sarcastic. I find it's very sarcastic. You know, one of the things people have failed to understand is that go and check, most advanced cities are cities that allow inclusion. Go and check. Cities that do not allow pardon me, and I'm not trying to be tribalistic, people that allow other tribes, other races to come into their setup, you will find out that they develop faster than those who just have only themselves. And I find it very interesting that in this time, listen, in this time and age, and that is why the Bible, when the Bible says, listen to me, when the Bible says that the heart of man is desperately evil and wicked, it says no man can know it. Do you think that would have occurred in this time and age? And it's not only in Nigeria. Do you know that one of the things that fueled Brexit was the fact that Britons do not want other people from other countries to come into their country because they felt that they were taking up their jobs. So it began to look at your business has to look at this human rights, impact on local communities, then as well as governance, ethical standards, board diversity and governance, stakeholder engagement, shareholder rights, pay for performance. Yeah, some of the most successful companies says what? Focus beyond profit margins and returns on investment to craft strong mission statements and purpose-driven strategies. It says these businesses prove it's essential to ask, how can I build sustainable business and serve people? Listen to me. You know, one of the persons I admire most in this country, and it's not really because he's the richest man. It's because of the kind of words that he says, and that is Dangote. And and listen to me, you can't imagine a PhD holder wanting to apply, not wanting, actually applying to be a truck driver in Dangote companies. It speaks a whole lot about the company. It speaks volume about the premium that company places on its staff for a PhD holder. Because you know why? Because there is a tendency for that PhD holder to end up owning the truck. And you are thinking that, let me tell you, as much as that guy continues on that focus on ensuring to serve people and improve people's life, let me tell you, his money will just continue to multiply. You know, some of us right now, all that you think, even as an employee, all that you are thinking about is just you, yourself, and yourself. That's all that we are thinking about. Not even thinking about the next person. Not even thinking about what new ideas will I bring onto the table that will improve this organization. We spoke about the challenges last week, but we also spoke about how best you can handle those challenges is what? By bringing value to the table. But that doesn't mean that they will still not reject you. We spoke about that last week. It says that how can I build a sustainable business and what? And serve people? Can I also ask you a question, even as an employee? How can I be relevant in my place of work and serve people? We spoke about this, sustainable development goals. It says purpose requires a different way of thinking about the economy and the role an organization plays in it. Listen, you know what purpose does? What purpose does? It changes your thinking from someone that is coming to the table to collect to someone that is bringing something to the table. Do you know what is interesting even about us Christians? But you know that often we don't even practice it, despite the fact that it's established in scriptures. It says what? It says that when we come, somebody should come with psalms, another person with hymns, another person with words of exhortation. But do you know that what everybody comes to do in churches, everybody wants to come and collect from one man of God? But what purpose does is that it changes your thinking to not just someone who wants to collect, but to someone who is bringing something to the table. I want you to just stay with me this morning, because let me tell you, the days are ahead. The days are ahead. We've already spoken about this before, and it's not trying to threaten anybody. It's not trying to scare anybody, but it's actually to prepare us. I don't know how many of you heard in the news, I think, was it this week, that the federal government is saying that they are now implementing the 40% pay rise of federal workers, in the mind that by June, fuel subsidy will be removed. Listen to me. Let's think. Buhari will no longer be there in June, and they are making plans for June. Doesn't that tell you something about a conversation between the incoming and the outgoing? And don't get me, I'm not saying that they are going to remove it. I'm not saying they will not remove it. What is in gear right now is that it is going to be removed. The only thing that will keep you sane if that happens is what? Is purpose. It says that the success of business isn't just about profit maximization, that is profit at all costs. It says harming the environment, people, and society. Listen, you know, can I feel free to say this? Can I feel free to say this? Let me tell you what happened during the cashless policy with our banks. It had been long coming. It had been long coming. Let me tell you, what I'm telling you is not about 5-10 years. It had been long coming. You know why? I was telling someone, I said, when I got employed into the banking industry at entry level, at entry level, that executive training. Yeah, that's the title, executive training. The very first point of call is, as at that time, executive training are the ones that you see at the counters, giving out cash and collecting cash. They're the ones that you see at the customer service desk. Listen, as at that time, my income, my income as at that time per month was about 250,000 naira. A year or 2 years after, they changed the old paradigm and moved us to the back end of the office and now replaced us with ND holders. Do you know how much they were paying the ND holders? Between 40 and 60,000. The same job. And now all of a sudden, and a lot of mess. You will see one bank poach a staff from another bank, such that staff will move all his customers to their own bank. And people think that they were doing fine, everyone was doing fine, only to find out almost 10 years after, a cashless policy that should not have even harmed anybody at all, that should have been seamless. We do not even have IT staff enough, because all the IT staffs, most of them have Japa. Listen, that is what happens when there is no purpose. It may take time. We will not see it coming, but the truth of the matter is that the disaster is inevitable. It says that instead, purpose in business is about profitability. Now listen to this. I like this statement. Listen, he said that instead, purpose in business is about profitability. He says using products and services that serve the market through positive impact. Purpose is about profitability. Using products and services that serve the market through positive impact. It says companies that operate with a clear sense of purpose perform better because they do good for society, all while being able to maximize the opportunities that present themselves. It says any business wanting to leave a legacy has a strong sense of purpose. It doesn't matter whether it's social or not. It says what? Apple has a strong sense of wanting to simplify people's lives with sleek gadgets. I think Pastor has said this often to us. What is always the motto for Apple is that maximum of 3 clicks, you get where you are going to on their platform. Maximum 3 clicks, you get to wherever you are going to on their platforms. It says, look at it. Tesla has a strong sense of wanting to provide people an affordable, safe electric that saves the environment. It says everyone is more driven, working towards a purpose that serves as a goal in the company. People who are drawn towards that purpose will work hard for it to happen. It says brands with a purpose that involves improving the quality of people's lives outperform the stock market by 120%. How many of us know this? Sorry, I placed GTB there. I know some other banks are also doing stuff. And think about it. Think about this. GTB, and they have a lot. They have a lot of products like that. Listen, do you know how much money transacts during this weekend? I am quite sure that the amount of money that transacts during this weekend may not even flow through the bank in months. Though this flows through their bank, don't forget, because all the appliances that they will use, POS will be what? GTB zone. But do you know what they've done with this? They've created a platform for those in the food and drinks industry to be able to do what? To be able to, number one, improve their businesses, to also be able to connect with customers and make sales. The same thing with the GTB Fashion Weekend. According to Harvard Business School professor Rebecca Anderson says, says most of the companies tackling the world's biggest challenges are purpose driven. He says, while purpose fits into organizations in various ways, those that are consumer centric consider the question, how do we meaningfully serve people? How do we meaningfully serve people? Not how much money am I going to make? And it's not as if that question is irrelevant. No, but it is not at the detriment of the service or the impact you want to have on people. It says there are several ways to lead a purpose-driven business. The most prominent is by enacting change. According to a sustainable business strategy, the 5 pathways to change that create a purpose-driven company are what? Number 1, pioneering new business models, creating models that persuade competition to follow suit. Discovering new technologies or improving existing ones. Why? So that you can drive down costs and forcing competitors to eliminate less sustainable alternatives. Listen, this topic that sometimes we think that these things, but let me tell you, it is just the way to go. It is just the way to go. Number 3, changing consumer perceptions of sustainability, encouraging consumers to demand more sustainable produced products and services. Number 4, paying employees more, giving employees a bigger stake in the business to persuade competitors to follow suit. I tell people that one of the things I am so much interested in, especially working in the fashion industry, is to just raise the standards. To raise the standards. Because let me tell you, once the standards are raised, everybody benefits. Everybody benefits. It says persuading investors to behave sustainably, showing investors that sustainability is better for the bottom line, which can affect the companies they invest in. Benefits of adopting a purpose. Number 1, it builds a strong corporate culture. According to the Harvard Business Review, it says corporate culture expresses a company's goals through values, beliefs, and business activities formed by shared assumptions and group norms. It's influenced by several factors, including stereotypes and progressive initiatives. It says business leaders need to take the time to build a strong company culture if they hope to drive purpose. Culture doesn't just inspire a company's purpose, it also impacts the employees driving its initiatives. When they believe in the culture, they're more prone to work harder despite the possibility of stagnant wages. As a result, consumers are more likely to react positively to the business purposes and become more loyal to the company. You know which company comes to mind reading this? In Nigeria. Which company comes to mind? Bovas. How many of you go to Bovas to buy petrol and you are looking at the meter? How many people? Most times you just drive in, you pay, they sell, you go. But go to another filling station, you will get down from your vehicle, you will stand by the meter, you will make sure the guy presses the correct thing, you will make sure the guy finishes dispensing, remove and even shakes the nozzle. It's very interesting how purpose improves financial performance. says many businesses on the path to sustainability fear their bottom lines will suffer because of progressive initiatives. Yet, adopting a purpose can significantly improve a company's long-term financial performance. It says a common barrier is the short-term financial returns they face while transitioning. And listen to me, it's not as if we're saying that it's a rosy ride. There will actually be like you are snuffing the income out of your business if you want to drive across the pathway of purpose. Why? Because you want to do something that impacts people's life. You want to do something that improves the lives of people. And let me tell you, when you want to do something that improves people's life, it will cost you. You know what? Because then people will take advantage of it. Can I share? Can we just look at this logically? Opay. When Opay first came into Nigeria, with all the benefits they were sending out, do you know that people will be changing lines? People will be changing their phone lines because just to get the benefits, after using one, they will throw it away. Buy another one because of what? The benefits. But see how many, do you know how much Opay lost? Do you know that Opay is one of the biggest platforms right now? During the financial hardship, how many people here open an Opay account? I'm even sure that people are using their Opay account more than they are using their normal bank account. Listen, purpose. Let me tell you, purpose. And listen to me. Those guys stayed steady, stayed on course. It says, since the trust between leadership and stakeholders is essential to a company's success, purpose-driven decision-making can be controversial. It says the shareholder value model of capitalism pressures many managers to maximize profits due to perceived legal obligations. And that is one of the challenges with capitalism, because capitalism is just to make money for a selected few. But now infusing this into it is standing at a loggerhead. But does it mean that because we want to make so much money, does it mean that we now have to destroy everything else? Because you know what? At the end of the day, what we are destroying because we are making money will come back to take that money off us, if not destroy us. It says, however, companies can legally sacrifice short-term profits with the promise of long-term success. When well executed, purpose-driven decisions can build high levels of trust between team members, companies within the same industry, and more importantly, key stakeholders. It says what? Drives industry change. Purpose-driven companies exist to effect change. While internal change initially occurs inside the organization, it says what? It eventually spreads externally through a process known as the wheel of change. The positive self-sustaining impact one firm has on an industry is a powerful force in tackling the world's biggest challenges. The wheel of change begins to turn when a company makes a business case to solve an issue, such as global climate change. Changes in strategy, business initiatives, and leadership lifestyle not only work to address the problem, but often force competitors to follow suit, especially if they produce successful results. You know, one of the, I think it was Pastor, and I think I've heard it severally too, that they've always told us to ask, the question to ask our children, the right question to ask our children is not what will you become, is what problem do you want to solve? You know why? Because when you say what do you want to become, you've narrowed the chances of that child. But when you tell that child or ask that child the question, what problem do you want to solve, you open a vista of opportunities for the child, because there are several ways to solve one single problem. Let me just quickly, I have some couple of minutes left. I want to run through some. I think this question was posed by Forbes. 15 members of Forbes, the business council, discuss several ways to create a purpose-driven business in the 21st century. I think these are the 15 guys and ladies. It says, number one, have 100% clarity in the mission. It says the key to creating a purpose-driven business starts with 100% clarity in the mission. It says this clarity becomes the North Star and guiding light for all strategies and tactics. Every decision every decision made is then based on serving the mission. When there is a clarity of purpose, your chances of bringing the mission to life skyrocket. But can I also say this? As much as this works for every business owner, this also works for every employee. If you don't start from the point of view of your mission, any job goes. And can I also tell you something? Every ill that happens to you in that job is okay with you. People don't understand. You know, and I find it very interesting, especially for employees, those who seek for employment. For most people, the only goal is how much salary are they going to pay me. But you will find out that when that becomes your goal, anything they bring across your way, in that, whether it is suitable for you, whether it aligns with your values, whether it does not, it goes for you. It says, make your vision relatable. Now you will find the names of those who said this is at the bottom. For example, the person who said this, that's Sharat Eshaba, something over there. So their names are there of their opinion. It says, make your vision relatable, bottoms up. It's critical. It says, most companies have my product will change the world. Vision. But for software engineers, how will the sales rep relate to your mission? It's important for founders to break down their vision / mission into key values framework that is understood by everyone across the company, and most importantly, relatable. You have to ensure that your vision is relatable. Listen, you know, sometimes, especially those who work in the back end, let me use my experience in the bank as an example. Always at loggerheads with the operation staff. You know why? They are the ones that have gone to this field to get the customer, and when they bring the file in, when they bring the new customer's file in, we are always delaying in opening that account. Because why? We want to make sure all the I's are crossed, dotted, all the T's are crossed, and they will be at loggerheads with us that we are doing all the work, you are the guys frustrating us. You know the reason why? It's because the vision is not relatable. But listen to me, if an operation staff had followed a marketer out to market with the marketer, when you come back in, you will find ways to work around the guidelines without negating the guidelines to still ensure that what is done and it is done speedily. It says what? Lead a purpose-driven life. The best way to create a purpose-driven business is to lead a purpose-driven life. It says too many leaders try to create a mission statement after the fact. But the most effective purpose-driven businesses start from the outset with why. I think Pastor spoke to this at the sermon on the first Sunday. It says, and it is usually personal. Let me tell you, it is our personal beliefs that we bring to the business workspace. That is the reason, listen to me. That is the reason when Pastor Francis was around running this church, there were some certain things that were, I don't know what to use, that were significant to him. When I took over as resident pastor, there were some certain things that have shifted, that has changed. And listen, we must understand that it is what we believe in personally that we bring to the global space. But can I say this as employees? What you need to understand is this. Once you've identified your own purpose, you've identified your value, what you should be looking for, that organization, whether it is a church, whether it is a business, whether it is a company, whatever it is that you want to work with, do we have aligning value system? Because that is the only thing that will make you enjoy your stay in that space. Why? Because my value system won't change because of you. And I don't expect your value system to change because of me. We can influence one another, don't get me wrong. And you know the problem is this, it's also more like when a woman and a man wants to get into marriage. You already seen that the value system of this person is not aligning, but you say I will change him when we get into marriage, and problem starts. And you know the interesting thing, you know what I still find interesting is when people ask this question about marriage, they ask the question that, hey, in courtship, he was doing this for me, especially the woman, say in courtship, he was doing this for me, in marriage, he's not doing them again. Courtship and marriage are two different things. Courtship is still running after you, wants to get you. Marriage, he has already gotten you. He now thinks that you are a responsibility he has to take care of. They are two different things. Sorry, I went into marriage. It said number 4, understand what motivates you and team. It says build enough self-awareness and relationship skills to understand what motivates you and your team. The best team operate with the same purpose and goal in mind. A team that unites with a common purpose and focus tends to be closer, more supportive, and easily able to accomplish their goals. I'm going to move a little faster now. Genuinely believe in the mission. It says consumers can spot artificial corporate missions and vision statement a mile away. It's why these fake mandates are so derided. For startups though, the founders need to genuinely believe in the mission for it to come to life. This happens naturally more often than not. When the founders really believe the mission, it becomes embedded in everything and everyone and is a vital force in the company. Number 6, focus on customers. Why? Because that is the reason why you have established your business. That is the reason why you are in that employment. It is for the customers. If the customers does not exist, you don't have a business. Focus on the customers. Every company exists to create value for their customers. A compelling purpose that is entirely focused on how to create value for a customer is the starting point. Purpose statements that have nothing to do with the customer won't drive traction within an organization. He says, well, reconnect with your why. Reconnect with your why. Let me just move. Number 1, what? Make it the core of your business. It is not just enough to have a purpose in your business. That's called a mission statement. Most companies have one and most are meaningless. It says a true purpose needs to be so foundational to the core of your business that it drives every decision you make. I like this. It says what? Fill a void in the marketplace. The best way to create a purpose-driven business is to fill a void in the marketplace. It says it is important to bring something to the table that nobody has, or to create something different that already exists in the marketplace that people need. Let me tell you, there is always a problem to solve. You know the interesting thing is this. In actual fact, when somebody is solving a problem, it's actually creating another problem, which somebody else must come to solve. Change the world for the better. Connect the team to the purpose. Focus on living your values. I think a lot of us, we've gotten ourselves off the track, especially where the issues of life matters, where the issues of drinking and eating and sustainable living matters. We've gotten this aspect mixed up. Focus on living your values. Empower behavior to promote the mission. I think Pastor Omishore spoke to this. He says, hire people who believe in your purpose. He says, nail the company's unique culture. There is something unique about you. There is something unique about what you do. In conclusion, sorry, the slides are there. This purpose is something that is discovered. You know, I find it interesting. This is not from the Bible. This is from, you can see the consulting company that wrote it. It says, purpose is something that is discovered, not created. It says that a purpose-driven organization understands that it has a reason for its existence. It says, which is much more than just to make money. The trick is discovering what that is and ensuring that it drives the values and culture of the organization. When this happens, it is nearly impossible for competitors to replicate. This means that being a purpose-driven organization can create a competitive advantage that is unique and sustainable over time. Having a clear purpose helps purpose-driven organizations make decisions that are aligned with their values. This not only leads to better outcomes, but also helps to build a culture of integrity and transparency, increased resilience. This is the part I like, and which is in bold. It says that what? A purpose-driven organization can be what? More adaptable and resilient. A purpose-driven organization can be more adaptable and resilient. Thank you.
Praise the Lord. Good morning, church. Let's appreciate Pastor Olumide one more time. So before going on, I want to find out whether anybody has any question or contributions based on what we have had this morning. Questions, contributions. Yes, anybody? Usually, this is how it starts. It's usually slow at the beginning, and then at the end, you usually need to shut ourselves down. So, yes, anybody? What did you get? Or maybe I should call on people. I believe that it's a great message, and for me, the area of driving home that point about purpose and the fact that it starts with us. Number one, and it's a purpose-driven person, a person who recognizes his own purpose, who will translate that into his business, whether he's an employer or an employee. So, anybody? Maybe I should call, let me call my friend. If I don't have any other person to, what's it called? It's Pastor Dapo. I will call first. We've been together for how many years now? Over 20 years, I think.
Good morning, church. I came a little bit late, but I still was able to pick one or two things about marrying your purpose with your mission, and then breaking down the mission, your vision, so that all your staffs, you understand, can actually understand what the organization stands for. And then I was able to pick as well that purpose driven organization is not just about making profit. It's more of actually serving the people, bringing value to the table. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Okay, let me call on Brother Dapo. Okay, don't worry. That's the secret. It's just spreading.
Okay, good morning, church.
Good morning.
The question I would like to ask, or some form of clarification, is when we talk about purpose-driven, especially in business, a lot of the examples that were given were a bit, in the first world, meaning the Teslas, the Apples, and whatnot. So they can really delve into, issues like the ESG. environment, social, and also governance. And for instance, the energy, they are talking about sustainable development, energy, solar, wind, and all whatnot. So my question is like, in our own context here, how can that kind of like a goal or a mission or a purpose to say like a mission, a business is driven towards maybe making sure that all energy in this in this space is renewable in this kind of a context where like everybody just wants to make a living. I just want to eat. How can we relate that to somebody who is relate such a message as okay, stop using firewood, buy gas, or don't even buy gas, buy solar. In this our context, I mean, okay. The question, if I should put it in a line, can we really put in those kind of like goals of the first world in this our context?
Okay, that's one question. And any other question? Okay, Brother Olumide.
It would have been here. Because I'm your enemy, I choose not to talk. Because you call Pastor go first. I said because I am his enemy, because he's called one of my friends. Let me call my friend. That's a joke. Pastor Olumide talked about at the point when he was giving examples of the bank sector whereby it was moved from one operation to another and they reduced the pay. It has happened in so many organizations where I wanted to work with GoTV all the time. At that time, they were paying 300. And by the time they were going to recruit the next set of people, they were about to pay 70,000 with their useless car. Why are the Nigerian people, is there a mentality culture that if you are the boss in a place, you want to reduce costs by all means? And the so-called Europeans or the leaders who came with this business have a standard for their businesses. This is the pay. I remember when I was working with phones, and Rico were paying they were paying $100. Then other company were paying 50,000 naira, 40 naira. These were paying $100. But when the Nigerian people came into power, they brought in naira and they reduced the whole thing. So why is it a mentality culture, or we are not purpose driven, sir?
Okay, any other question? Okay, because of time, let us allow Pastor Olumide to take those questions. Okay, one more question.
Good morning, church. I actually wanted to buttress my brother's question by also asking the same question. Do we really have businesses in Nigeria? That's my question.
Okay, maybe I should add this to it. Pastor Olumide, not for example, the ESG, even the issue of purpose and all that. We found out that most of our organizations don't even have anything written or anything said. I mean, it's just as it goes. So how do we?
All right. You know what I've asked, so that it is a bit practicable to us. Oh, unfortunately, my brother is stepping out, so he won't be able to hear. Oh, all right. I hope you come in back as quickly as possible. Now, I asked him to actually put up, this is our website, our company website. That's zucchinifashion.center. Now, it's under philosophy. And I'm going to explain something for us there. Listen, it's not so much. No, it's because I didn't change it. I just didn't have the time to change it. And please, we should not be looking at all of those things. No, I'm serious. I just didn't change it. I didn't change that flap. I should change it. You know the amount of work that has to go into things like that. You guys, so it's not because I like that picture. I just don't have the time yet to change it. But now move up, just move up quickly. Now this move up, very quick. Now, yeah. No, leave that place, leave that part. Move up. Look at it. No, calm down. Yeah, listen, facilitating enterprise, creating wealth. That is one of our goals, one of our purposes. Move up. Preserving culture, fostering innovation. Move up. Improving life, sustaining communities. Now listen to me. How many of us saw the post? I think I did it during this week of the interaction with a student in 500 level who is working on a research on Ashoke? Does it fit into any of this? Listen, I was interestingly, the guy came over after producing that Ashoke for him. The guy came over to our office yesterday, and we're having this interaction. I was telling him that I don't want to preempt the results of your research, but I know that there's a likelihood that whatever outcome from your research, it might actually take us back to the weavers, which means that the weavers have to be innovative in what they come up with. Are we together? Because one of the things that he said from his interview, he says that why is it that the thread, how many of you know that the thread in Ashoke removes almost easily? The reason is simple. It is because it is handmade. There's little to how much pressure your hand can apply to press the threads together. But do you know something? I didn't ask you to open this one. Go back to this. Now, listen to me. Listen to something. Do you know that at the end of the day, once we improve the way they do things, do you know that we will also, there's a likelihood, if anybody is saying something, there's a likelihood that maybe more people now will be engaging the Ashoke to produce fancy full jean type trousers for our young people. What does that do? It has improved even income from the weavers, apart from improving their innovation. One of the things we don't listen. Sometimes the challenge with us is this: we are thinking about the big companies. The big companies didn't start big companies. The big companies didn't start big companies. The big companies started with what? They wanted to just solve a problem. So that's why I asked us the question: what problem do you want to solve? Listen to me. If you have money, it will determine the way and approach you will solve that problem. If you don't have money and you want to solve the problem, it determines the approach you will go about solving the problem, which will be, Yoruba said something on water. There are several roads that lead to the market. And that's the reason why when you are thinking of solving a problem, there are options available to you based on your present location or your present circumstances. But when it is all about something you want to get from people, your options are limited, and most often times the option that may be available to you may be option that will even cause harm to the person. Does that solve? Now what does that mean is that if anything as an organization we want to do does not align with these three things, we don't do it. Do you know, in our engagement with the university community, do you know how much exposure the work of the university community, the research they are doing in terms of fashion is gaining grounds now, even amongst people? To now even understand that, so even our lecturers are even working on the research, they are even paying this price to ensure that they contribute knowledge to the industry. And when you say communities, don't think communities as only spaces or places. Communities are also groups of people. That point. Do you understand? So it's don't always think about the big things that they are doing. Think about even the small things. But the bottom line is this: is that what problem do you want to solve that makes people's life better? Then coming back to, my brother asked the question that do we really have businesses in Nigeria? I think we do. They may not, the model of businesses we might be talking about, there may not be, how do I put it? May not be so many. And can I also correct a notion? Listen, Pastor Olumide, what you said about Nigerians taking over, it is not only in Nigeria. Go and read history of corporate organizations, even in America, where they were doing all sorts of illegalities. There is this movie, I forgot, something on Wall Street. With the Wolf of Wall Street. Go and look at the movie. until they wrecked the reputation of Wall Street. You know, Wall Street is what is labeled as the business center of the US, until they wrecked it because of their recklessness. Because some people just wanted to make money at the detriment of other people. And listen, it is not just Nigeria. We might be passing through our own phase. And that's why, at least I showed us examples of Dangote. I gave us an example of who? Bovas. Bovas is close to us now. That's why I asked you a question. Why do you drive into Bovas and you don't check their meter? I mean, is it not in Nigeria? So you understand? So the bottom line of all of these things are simple, is that you have to think, what problem are you solving? We are not negating profit. Don't get us wrong. We are saying that it's just a matter of shifting focus. Listen, let me quickly give another example with the work we're doing. I think I mentioned it in the past last week. We produce coverall for students in the engineering department. And I told them something. I said that because I saw what they were producing for them. And unfortunately, I don't even know the person doing the work. And they will produce a coverall for them because they were students. They won't weave the inside. They will put the logo on the university logo, and the logo will be like almost turning upside down. And we told them, we said, look, we are going to change this. Just give us one department. Since we are working with your department, let's work with you. And listen, we produced a coverall. Instead of this cloth, what is it called? Logo. We did it pressed logo, colorful. Make sure that the inner is well knitted, finished. At least we created 3 or 4 sizes for them so that they have options to pick from. Now, the students are no longer thinking about functionality of the garment. They are now thinking about fashionability of the garment. They now want to wear it, take pictures with it. Those who it does not fit, they are now saying, no, we want reproduce another one. We will pay again. These were the students that said they cannot afford the money. They said, we will pay again. Reproduce another one that is our exact fit. I'll be on campus. Very interesting. Let me add this to it, and I'll round up with this because of our time. You know something very interesting? They now sent me a barrage out of, I think we produced 50. Out of 50, 4 art complaints. 4 art complaints. And they now sent it back and now said, they snapped the picture and said, the students are disturbing them. The students are this, are that. I said, no problem. Let me just think. I said, we have 2 options. It's either we reproduce a fresh one. If it is our fault, we will reproduce a fresh one for them free of charge, which means that they will have to for those students. Or we can just replace the down part of it so that the length, we just adjust the length for them at no cost. Do you think it is not? Initially, the amount the students are paying with the quality of what we have done has already taken our profits. Now, this additional one that is coming in, where is the money going to come from? The profit that we've not made. But do you know one of the things that we have changed? I said, I have guaranteed something. Next year, the other person producing for them must change what he or she is producing. It may not come to us. But what has happened? We have elevated the standard of what the student will receive at the end of the day. Do you get? So if that's bringing it home to us, is that there's something you can do where you are that improves and benefits the lives of somebody else. So not just thinking about the big company, because they did not arrive where they are overnight. They started from somewhere, creating solutions and building on that solutions, improving on it until they became who they became. Thank you.
Okay, so
Wow, welcome back. I want to believe that you gained 1, 2, 3 things from the topic this morning, or from the message that you listened to. Well, there's something very, very important even about purpose in business. Is the fact that when you are purpose driven, it helps you to adapt even to changes. Because why? what you're driving out to accomplish is this still the same thing, but there are diverse ways by which you can approach that solution, and that gives you the flexibility that in spite of when times are changing, you're still able to meet up with the goal or purpose for which you have established that business or that organization. And like I also spoke to those who are employees, one major thing that purpose does for you, even as an employee, is that if you are purpose driven as an individual, number one, it helps you to easily determine the organization you work with, because you will find out that your value system will allow and align with the value system of that organization, which is the major pointer. And it also helps in this aspect of even the purpose you're supposed to accomplish, which ultimately now becomes a subset of the purpose of the organization you're working with. One thing about this topic is that as the world becomes crazier, with the war still going on in Ukraine, between Ukraine and Russia, war is almost happening or springing up in Sudan. There's this tension crisis between China and Taiwan, and so much mess all around the world. What purpose does is that purpose keeps you steady on the road. It keeps you focused, and you're able to play with a lot more options possible in order for you to accomplish whatever you set out to accomplish. But don't forget, this the mindset, and in addition to improving people's lives, improving your community, improving your environment, and making the world a better place to live in. So I want you to just take home this morning, possibly make some realignments here and there, whether as an employee or as a business owner. But like I said, if you come to this track that we are discussing about in terms of being purpose driven, you will find out that you have a whole lot more options and opportunities that will come across your pathway. But more importantly,
Welcome. This is the Bridge Network, City Church, Canada. We're very glad to have you here. And our vision is outstanding life and service to God, transforming our world. We invite you to come for the word, but we know that you will stay for the kingdom. The Bridge Network is located in Canada, Vancouver, and we believe in connecting to each other, to the community, and to God. To support us and to be part of this, these are the information you need to be able to do that. We welcome you to our program today, and we trust that you're going to be blessed. Thank you so much for being with us. The Bridge Network, City Church, Canada.